Are you ready? You
Oh yeah,
guys
that's all
ready?
you. Let's do it.
I'm going live. We're going live now. And we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Oh my God, we're back again. Um, um, I hope
Yeah.
you guys can hear us. Please let us know if you can hear us. I hope we're even live right now. I hope that worked. So let me refresh my YouTube. Does it look
I'm
like we're
seeing
live?
ads. Yes,
Okay.
we must be.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
live.
there we
Okay.
are. There we are.
Perfect. So happy Sunday, everybody. How's everyone doing out there? This is something we might start doing monthly. We don't know yet. We decided there's so much crazy stuff going on right now that we should probably start covering some of these current events. I was talking to Foil. She's always sending me links and all this crazy news, and she's like the definition of a researcher. I mean, she's digging into this stuff and going down these rabbit holes all the time. So there's no better person to talk to this stuff about than her. So uh and there's a lot going on right now, so we figured why not, let's just have some fun with it. This whole snake on a plane, this
Oh,
reptilian, apparently that whole thing. What's interesting
damn.
about that is that when something goes viral like that, you get opinions and theories that you can't even imagine. Like everyone has something to say and everyone thinks they're right, and it's hilarious, it's fun. But I figured, what can we do? Like, no one really knows, so let's just have fun with it. But
Yeah.
before we get into that, I want to cover the Sound of Freedom movie, because I
Yeah.
just saw it last night. You saw it, Aaron, right?
Yeah, I saw it a few days ago with my partner, and we were I mean, it was powerful.
Right.
It's all true, as we know. Like, I mean, it's a true story.
Yeah.
But as we know, that problem is a very real problem, and it's goes so deeper and bigger than the movie even said. But the movie is a good, like, get it out to the masses, awaken the masses to, in a very powerful way, you know. And of course, the media has to discredit it and slander it, as they're doing now,
Well,
because
that's what drove me to go see it.
it's a huge
Like
threat.
it was the slandering from Washington Post and Rolling
Mhm.
Stones and a few other whatever sites. They were just trashing it. So I was like, I have to see it now. Like,
They're
if they're
calling it like a QAnon conspiracy and QAnon agenda
right.
and all this stuff, which is hilarious because it has nothing to do. Like,
It would be one thing,
it's,
like, and I haven't seen it, right? I've yet to see it. I live in the
you
middle
need
of
to.
nowhere, so I would have to actually go somewhere to see it. But nevertheless, right? It's amazing to me that we can have things like Nexium, the Finders,
Yeah,
Epstein, you know, but they'll go after this for trying to expose that these things are happening in circles of power. You know, we
right.
just today, they had a Marine arrested at Camp Pendleton that had taken like a 13 or 14-year-old girl onto the barracks, right? Somehow got past security with this kid, drug her onto the barracks for these purposes. But then they want to come out and everybody's crazy for talking about this movie. Like, that's that's obscene to me. I don't know.
Right. I, I I think this movie, though, it's like you said, Aaron, it's a great it's a stepping stone, because you don't want to traumatize people and push them away with all the dark information and the violence and those
Right.
graphic details and all that stuff. It was done so beautifully. Like, I was
Yeah.
impressed. I really
Me
didn't
too.
have many expectations going into it. I just thought, like, I saw the review, saw what everyone was saying. But when I walked away from that movie, first of all, it was a tearjerker a couple times. Like, it's just
Oh yeah.
powerful. It was, like I said, it was done very well. But what it did more than anything, it's like a call to action. It inspired me. Like, it was so awesome to see, especially at the end when Jim Caviezel comes on and addresses the audience directly and during the credits
Yeah.
and gives some of the specifics and details and some of the background of the film. I don't know. I just felt it was something. All we have now in theaters is fantasy, sci-fi, green screen, CGI. Now you have something, a movie about something that actually matters in this world.
Right.
And it goes to show you, they had no actual real promotion or funding for promotions or advertisements. So it was the people, if anybody knows anything
Mhm.
about it. It just
It's a
shows.
miracle. It's a miracle it even got to theaters, because, as we know, Disney bought it in 2018, and then with the intent to never release it, because they didn't want, for good, you know, as we know, Disney, of course, they didn't want it out, and it took 5 years for them to get it out because of that. It was actually done in 2018. It should have been out in 2018 and took 5 years.
I remember seeing a preview for it a long time ago.
Me
They
too.
had released a trailer a long time ago for it.
Yeah.
And we just now got it. Either way, I recommend going to see it. I know there's, some people are, I saw a theory now that they're saying that the money raised from that film is actually going to be used for trafficking. Like they're just like, there's all like, I'm like, I don't know, maybe either, regardless if that money is going to be used to fund something negative, it doesn't, the impact that it had on everybody and the awareness that has hit the collective consciousness now is,
because now people know, because think about how many people now know that had no idea this was going on, or at least going on to this scale. Like how $150 billion a year.
And that's an old statistic.
And that's even an old statistic. You're right.
Yeah.
It's even more than that, actually.
And like, there's so much more. But anyway, somebody said, what movie? We're talking about The Sound of Freedom. And I loved that they beat out Disney on day one.
Yeah,
the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's just the universe at work, because Disney was the one who was trying to shelf it, and then now they get,
imagine that.
And somebody I saw that like it was like $200 and something million budget for Indiana Jones and a $15 million budget for Sound of Freedom,
with a tiny fraction of the budget,
right? And it was released in literally like half of the amount of theaters. So either way, it's out. It's getting the ball rolling, man. I mean, I don't know. I think it
basically word of mouth. Like it was word of mouth, getting it out there and people sharing on social media.
I see they have it where you can buy tickets for somebody else to go see it.
Yeah.
Also, like paying it forward for people to go see the movie. That's awesome.
Yep.
They don't want money to block anyone from seeing this. Like if you can't afford it, here's a free ticket.
Right. And that's even more impressive that probably 50% of the tickets were free tickets, and they still beat
they still beat
exactly. Anyway, how have you been, Foil?
I am good. I'm good. I've been on hiatus. Been on a little hiatus. Had some stuff I had to do. But I'm happy to be here. Always happy to come chat it up with you guys.
Right.
Same.
We're happy to have you here. And so I guess it was just Snake on a Plane that got this even motivated this whole thing. So before I just want to know,
Samuel L. Jackson was on that plane.
He was. He was. That's fact check true, right?
Right.
Yes, fact check true.
The best part about that movie is whenever the snake bites this guy's ass, and Samuel Jackson, he's like, "Don't move, there's a snake on your butt."
Cheesy.
Best part of the movie.
It's funny. So before we even play videos or do any of that stuff, I want to hear your opinion on this entire whole viral video and what's going on with it.
Now, we all know the lizards are everywhere. Okay. I think we can all agree that the lizards are everywhere. The answer is always the lizards. Okay. Now, I believe that the chick saw something. Now, like you said, immediately when something goes viral, you get 50 million various interpretations of what is happening. You get people claiming that they were there, the whole nine. So, initially we just have the video, right? So then this guy comes out on TikTok, which, for those of you that know, I kind of got stuck on TikTok for a lot of my free time. So this guy comes out on TikTok, The Kolb Show, and he says, "Listen, I was on the plane. There was a guy in a green hoodie, and it was crazy." He says the lady was having a full-on conversation with him, but he wasn't saying anything. So this guy is trying to say, like, he was telepathically communicating with the lady on the plane. That she freaks out, gets up, throws the fit, which everybody saw, right? And then after after this entire thing occurs, that the guy in the green hoodie looks over at the Kolb Show guy and smiles and then winks at him, but not winks normally, winks like a lizard wink, right? Which is where
sideways.
Which is
sideways,
right? Which is where this whole reptilian conspiracy theory with regards to this video started. Okay, now I believe she saw something. So I say immediately, Tyler's like, have you seen this? Yes, I've seen this. And then we're sending each other links back and forth. Well, on TikTok again, I come across the video and it's the green hoodie guy. And Tyler, if you can pull it up and show them, we can all agree that this is the green hoodie guy, because I found something interesting. My fact checking ass.
Right. Let me
right.
Let me pull it up first and I'll share my screen. But so you can tell them about the video though, the comments and the dates and stuff.
So on the video, it is the video that everybody, you can tell this is where the still shot was taken of the guy in the green hoodie. This is the video. That's the video everybody's saying that is from a different angle. Well, when you look at the comments on the video, they're all from 2022. All right. So not to, break anybody's fun, but I don't think green hoodie guy was ever on that flight. Right.
I don't think so either. I'm going to share my screen now. Let me do this. All right, you guys see this video?
There we go.
All right, let me I'm not even going to play the audio for this one. It's in a different language. We can just watch it. There. Okay, so you can narrate this, Foil.
So yeah, so there's green hoodie guy. This is where we get the still that everybody has seen. Right? How they were saying, oh, the flight attendants had changed. There was so many arguments. Well, flight attendants do change. Like that wasn't it. But this is definitely the guy that everybody was pointing to as the lizard man.
Right. And you looked at the dates on all the comments.
And I go, yes, immediately into the comments. I don't know can you pull them up on here? We'll let them show.
Maybe. Yeah. So 2022.
Yeah. So they're all from June of last year. So this video is actually an old video that the Kolb, that the Kolb show guy had yanked and put together, claiming that this was the guy, that he was the guy on the plane or whatever. So then after that, what do we see? We see the other guy that says he was the guy in the green hoodie, which even if that green hoodie guy from 2022 was on that flight, it's clearly not the same guy. The guy that was claiming to be a Freemason that he said,
Well, I want to talk about that guy real quick. So
that freaking guy.
So there's another video that came out. Actually, let's play the actual video.
Play that one, yeah.
Of the
Is this the guy that claimed he saw him wink at him? Is this the one you're talking about?
No, that's a different guy. No, there's a guy that came forward now who apparently is the guy, the guy.
Says he's the green hoodie.
He says he's the hoodie guy.
Yeah, but not green hoodie, black hoodie. Anyway, but I'm gonna play the original thing just for anybody who didn't see it real quick.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I'm just gonna play the first couple seconds of it just because
to me, she is showing genuine emotion. Like,
I believe.
I don't think you can fake that.
No, I believe she saw something, and I'd have probably been the first person. Like, I'm getting off too. Good luck to all of you.
She saw something.
I can't. This silly Instagram video, I can't rewind it, so I'm just gonna wait. I think so too. Like her voice was shaking, her voice was crackling. Like, there's people that say she had like this military
bun.
He's like, oh, she's military because she has that bun. I'm like,
that's a pretty.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, plenty of even if she was in the military, that doesn't necessarily mean she didn't.
It doesn't prove anything.
See something crazy, right?
And then people are saying she's a crisis actor.
Oh, because her fingers were like this.
It could because she did the flight attendant thing, or the Baphomet.
The Baphomet, don't do it. Somebody's gonna screenshot this.
Right. People.
I don't even exist anyway. It's fine.
So here, let me play it real quick. Share screen. I can't make it any bigger. I just sat here and tried to do it. I don't know why. But we'll just play it and then go from there. Hang on. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
There's a reason why I'm getting but I am terrible.
Can you guys hear it? I can't hear it at all.
Mm-mm.
You can't hear that?
No, not at all.
I mean,
it's not picking up the audio.
Damn, for real? That's the
know?
same way I do it whenever we do the like you don't hear anything at all, it's
No.
silent.
I heard
Well, I heard, yeah, a couple of
and that was it. Yeah.
a few vocalizations, but that was pretty much the extent of it.
All right, I'm gonna try something then. Actually, stop share.
But
Okay.
she says, like, hey, listen, he is not real.
Right.
I believe you, sister.
Like, that
Like, I'm with you.
mother effer is not real.
Right? Yeah, like I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Right? I'll take the next flight. That's fine. This is fine.
Aaron, what did you say on the? You said change the microphone or the speaker to a Sunflower to
Change, yeah, the microphone, I think, not the speaker. It could be the other way around, actually. I'm trying to think. Try the microphone to Sunflower and then play it.
I did, but you couldn't hear me.
Shirley Q is mentioning the earbuds conversation. I saw those videos too, that the lady was saying that she had lost one of her earbuds and that the guy that she was yelling at was actually a black guy, that she had a whole fit, that she was drinking before she got on the plane. I saw those videos too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can.
Okay, so let me switch this audio. Let me do this real quick. We're gonna try it. Just an experiment. Sorry guys, bear with us. Techno.
Let's see if this works. Nope. No audio.
All right. Well, anyway, that sucks.
I guess we can just share the link in the chat and
Yeah, well, even from
You
her,
can see-
you could see her facial, like
Right, right.
I
you can
believe
see,
she
yeah,
believed what she was saying.
right. Even
you
without the audio, you can tell exactly.
Yeah, I saw Carrot Top, Sopranos fan, gave
Right, okay.
his little 2 cents.
So some people are saying that, yeah, Carrot Top was
says he was on the flight.
right. Yeah. But anyway, the guy who comes forward and says, "Hey, I just got back from traveling. It was me." He's all tattooed up. He has all the Freemason symbols on, these Freemason jewelry, and he said that this girl was mad at him. She was asking him about all the symbols, and he was like, "You know what these?" She's like, "Do you even know what these symbols mean?" Blah blah blah. And then he was ignoring her, and she kept going on and saying how they're all Satanist and blah blah blah. And then he said that he turned to her, and she's like, "Do you know these people? These people worship Lucifer." And then he said that he turned to her and told her, "I am Lucifer." And
There's a sound clip for you, Tyler.
Really?
what?
There's a sound clip. You saying, "I am Lucifer."
Somebody's gonna
Oh,
clip
yeah.
saying
Somebody's
that
clipping that for sure.
And
Oh shit!
say
Whatever.
that you said that.
Whatever. We'll let him have
Hi,
fun.
frightening me.
Anyway,
Tyler
apparently,
Koala admits he's Lucifer.
Right? Dun dun dun.
but then she was going on and on about how Freemasons think that they run the world, and then he said at the end, he said, "No, Freemasons run the universe." Like even the guy who made the video with the tattoos, like he had some dark entity working through him, regardless if that was him or not. Like, I'm like if
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
if
Yeah.
he was the guy and she did see something, I wouldn't be surprised if he like shapeshifted or like she saw some overlay or something. Like I would not be surprised if that was the case.
Whether that guy was on the plane or not, he is super sus and throwing major shade either way. Like either way,
Right.
his energy was bad.
I've heard lots of stories of people that, like David Wilcock tells a story where he shook a guy's hand, and then as soon as he shook his hand, he saw his face. He saw a reptilian face, like in his mind's eye. So it wasn't like physically there, but he like saw it
The lizard.
overlaid on him or something like that.
That makes me think of that video where the guy's getting attacked and it's like CCTV cam. The guy's getting attacked, and you see something come up out of his body. It's kind of shaped like a lizard that fights the
Oh, yeah,
attacker
yeah.
off. Remember
Right.
that? And then he goes back
Right.
into the guy's body, and then the guy gets up and walks off.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Right.
something.
And
I don't
then
know what, but it's something.
I actually have a friend here where I live now that she has a whole story. She claims she saw this she was I can't remember what the person was, but she was with this person and the energy was just off like from the get-go, but then she claimed she saw them shapeshift into a reptilian, like grow super huge into this reptilian. She tells the story like she's telling the truth as she believes it 100%. Yeah, we should maybe get her on the show sometime.
Yeah,
Tell
I'd have
that,
had a whole freak out
because
at that point.
she claims she's 100% saw a person shapeshift into a reptilian.
Does anyone know who this woman is? Is she in witness protection or did they arrest her? I don't know. Did you hear anything?
I
know,
spent
but-
a great deal of time trying to figure out who she was. All the articles say that because it was Dallas to Orlando flight. Dallas PD was there waiting for her when they got off the flight, and then the articles say various things like she left without incident. Now they're not clear on whether or not she left with the police, but I would assume that after having to force a flight to turn around, she probably got arrested. She
Yeah.
probably got arrested.
Yeah, because everyone's claiming she has like disappeared since that flight, basically.
I just love how many different stories there are, and they're
So
all
many.
apparently from
Yeah.
even from people on the flight, and everyone's version of what happened is completely different. So whether or not she saw something or not, whether or not this was a publicity stunt, whether she's in the military, psyop, Satanist, whatever, I still have fun talking about it.
Right. It's
Yeah,
super fun.
right.
I mean, can we talk for a minute about just what the hell is going on with airports and airplanes in general recently?
Yeah,
Like
let's do it.
last month, right? Last month, a guy had a total freak out on a plane on a flight in flight, right? And I think it was South Korea. I'm pretty sure I sent you the video. God knows we shouldn't even try to pull it up and play it. But he opened the door while the plane was in flight. And you can see the people strapped in their seats just terrified. Like he had a total freak out during the flight. You sent me a video the next day after the lizard lady, right? Of the guy coming back from a concert or whatever, and that he had to get wrestled to the ground. Like he had a total freak out.
What video?
Didn't you send it to me? It was a white guy coming back from, I think, a concert or something. He was a British guy, maybe Australian, and he was freaking out, said he wanted to get off his plane while the plane was in flight, and the guys had to wrestle him to the ground.
Right, maybe, I don't know. We send so much stuff. I don't know.
Honest to God, right? I'm pretty sure you sent that to me. But I mean, people are just freaking out in airports and on planes in general. Like, what is
Well,
going on with that?
There's a few people in the chat that claim they've seen people shapeshift into a reptilian.
Right. I've seen it in like dream time, like people that I know in real life, like they'll show themselves to me in my dreams, like, and I don't even want to say any names, but because I don't know if it's true, if it doesn't mean that they are, but
Right.
Dreams can be symbolic though too.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Are they giving off lizard energy, Tyler?
But I think the airport thing, I think it's the frequencies. I've noticed I become agitated and irritable in the airports, like, and I'm not that type of person. There's
certain
a
ones,
right, certain ones
especially,
and there's a frequency. These towers, these 5G towers, are emitting frequencies that are literally mind controlling people and causing them to be irritated, and they can create depression, whatever they want. Like, go back and watch the Voice of God webinar. The Voice of God tech is installed in the 5G towers. So obviously whatever frequency is being emitted at the airports, it causes chaos. And that doesn't surprise me at all that we're seeing this, and all the flight cancellations and everything, like all the military moving into all these like how many different states now, like it's just all happening during the 4th of July week and nobody's saying anything about it. It's interesting.
Somebody said coming back from a concert in Croatia. That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about.
I'm going to share this video real quick. Share screen of this guy. All right. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you sent me this one too.
All right, watch this. This
Whoa.
girl just pops up out of the ground. I wish I could make this bigger. I don't know. Like, it's like she was just like time traveled. It's like somebody killed her and sent her body into a different time to hide the evidence.
And you can see the guy legit
Right.
trips over her and is freaked. Like, what just happened?
Right. So
Right.
if the
Turns
video
around like,
was,
what the hell?
so if it's a fake edited video, they would
I don't
have
know,
to
man. That's crazy.
somehow have that
Right?
guy
Wild
do that.
stuff.
What's the movie? Is it the Transporter? What movie is when they kill the person and send them back through time or in another time so they can hide the evidence? Anyway, like, I don't know what's going on with this. I don't even know if it's a real
Yeah.
video. We don't
I
know
don't know
if
if it's real or
anything's
not.
real
Yeah.
anymore, but
We don't know what's real
You'd
these
have
days.
it analyzed by somebody
Right.
that
Foil,
analyzes
tell us about this Reddit whistleblower.
This was
Yes,
crazy.
please do.
So this was crazy, right? And so, okay, for those of you that aren't familiar, this made its rounds in social media almost immediately. I mean, moved from Reddit to Twitter to TikTok. I mean, it was all over the place. So this guy goes onto Reddit and writes this very long post saying that he was a microbiologist, that he worked in the early 2000s, 2010s, and now he says he's going to be deliberately deceptive about where he worked, but he blatantly calls out Battelle at Fort Detrick, right? So naturally Battelle gets reamed with crazy Google reviews and all kinds of stuff, but that's probably not where he was at. I mean, who would go and say where they worked if they're dropping this kind of information, right? In any
Right.
case.
Right.
So he says that he worked, in a lab. He was a contractor, early 2000s, through the 2010s, that he worked on a project that was supposed to decipher the genome and proteome of 4 deceased alien greys that they had in their custody. And he's extremely specific. Now, of course, this has been debunked and rebunked and like just bunked all the way around. Okay. I mean, to the point,
Right.
to the point that like Joe Rogan had commented on it. Gary Nolan came out and commented on it. I mean, this really caught a lot of people's attention. And I can't say, like, I'm not going to get up here and say with 100% certainty that this is absolutely what was going on, right? This is absolutely true. What I will tell you is that I saw a lot of people speculating that this was maybe ChatGPT. I work with ChatGPT every day. I do not believe that this was a large language model response. The guy used specific words, and he used, when he would describe different techniques for how they would do their examinations or how they would run their assays, or the different, like the technology that he was using was specific to the time period. Even though we have, this would be something that you would have to have a functioning knowledge of microbiology to be able to call these things out or do a hell of a lot of research. I mean, this guy is either legit or he's,
Well, he had just the right verbiage. Yeah.
yes, he's either legit or he's the LARPiest of the LARPs. Like, he's the king of the LARPs. Like, it's one or the other, right?
Right.
But he makes some very interesting claims in this post, right? He says that, the gray skin that we associate with alien grays is actually a sort of like a semi-permeable film that comes off, right? That once it's removed, they're actually kind of like a pallid whitish color. Same thing with the big black eyes, that this can be removed. It's also some sort of a biofilm that can be removed that's probably used to protect, highlight environments, that once that's removed, that their eye actually is somewhat similar to a human eye. I mean, whereas it's got an iris, it's got a pupil. The iris is kind of like this light gray purplish color. The pupil is black. He goes into detail that they've got 6 different kinds of cones cones in the eye, so they probably have a wider perception of the visible light spectrum than we do. he makes an interesting claim about circular chromosomes, which this is something that actually I think gives credence, right? Because a lot of people jumped right on and was like, and they were saying, well, we usually only see circular chromosomes with bacteria. We see it with archaea. Something else we see circular chromosomes with are chloroplasts, okay? Chloroplasts have chlorophyll. Now, if you think back to Bill Cooper, when he was talking about the EBE that they had supposedly recovered, the information that he had on the EBE that they recovered, Bill Cooper said that life form had a biology based on chlorophyll, to the point that they had to bring in a botanist to help when it got sick, right? So I thought, well, that's odd, right? Now I don't know that there's a connection there. It just was something that stuck out to me. I mean, he gives a great description of the organs that they have, the organs that they don't have, that they have like a hepatorenal gland that processes waste, that they probably only intake liquid, that this hepatorenal gland processes the waste, that it actually diffuses out and branches out into thousands and thousands of pores on their skin, and that they excrete their waste through their skin. And because their waste is almost like urea, that it has a very strong scent of ammonia, which, if you think about the Vargina case, that was the one thing that the thing stunk, right?
Yeah.
It stunk like ammonia.
Everything,
Go ahead.
everything that you're saying lines up with like almost every testimony we've ever heard about the Greys, including the eyes. Sue Walker, who was in contact with the Ponte, a group of Greys in the Sandia mountain range. She describes the black casing over the eye being something like temporary, but when you take it off, she even draws pictures of them with human eyes, basically bigger, much bigger. But
yeah, I don't know if you guys know about the famous alien autopsy video from the mid-90s.
Yeah,
that if you look it up, you're going to see people claiming it was debunked and claiming it's fit, and I looked into it, and it actually seems like I think it's real. It hasn't actually been debunked at all. And in fact, I think it's proven to be real, in my opinion. And in that, they show that the eye coverings, and you see them taking them off, and then you see exactly what you described, their eyes like that underneath in the video.
This guy either integrated information from every source that we have on alien Greys, or he saw this and he's describing what he saw.
And what day did he come out?
I think it's legit. Honestly, it has all the hallmarks of truth, of a true whistleblower to me.
I think this happened on the 5th or the 6th.
Like this very recently, though. Yeah.
Yes.
When I read it, I just felt like, I didn't feel deception there. Like sometimes I don't know, maybe that doesn't mean I'm always right, but to me, it seemed legit.
Well, what I think is interesting is, he says he's a microbiologist, right? And if you read through the stuff that he gives a lot of detail on, compared to the stuff that he really doesn't give a lot of detail on, kind of seems like it would line up with his area of claimed expertise. What really sold me, though, right? What really sold me about this was the way the takedown of his accounts happened, because he initially was posting under EBO Biologist A, right? And as he's posting, somehow his comments are getting deleted, right? Because he did audience interaction for a good long while. I mean, people that came with highly specific questions that he was able to answer off the top of his head, right? And like I said, there were too many grammatical errors, just different flowery language that is not akin to Chat GPT. This guy was answering these questions, I believe, in real time. But he's posting under one account, and suddenly his comments are getting deleted, and the mods on the subreddit are like, what the hell is happening? We can't get this fixed. It's not us. They're telling everybody in the chat, like, this isn't us. We're talking to him through mod mail. Then the account gets deleted, right? So he creates another account, EBO Scientist B or whatever it was. He starts doing it, and in real time, he gets taken down again. Now, this could, from what the mods have said, this could only happen at the administrative level of Reddit. And then the entire account got deleted, right? Now, everybody had archived and preserved the thread so that it's there if you guys want to go look at it. But the way he was taken down in real time so quickly, and not from the mods of the subreddit, as if somebody bigger
Bigger than
was
that.
like,
Yeah.
oh, what the hell is this? You know, and
They're
then
like-
came on
They're like,
and
oh shit, get rid
yeah,
of
and
this.
yeeted his whole shit. It was crazy.
So really quick
Yeah.
side note, somebody just commented, a lot of people are saying that girl on the plane was drunk. What have you saw about that? Because I saw something that she did the test and she wasn't drunk. What did you see?
The reason they're saying there was a video from a woman on the plane that said that she was yelling at a black guy for stealing her earbuds, that said that before she got on the flight, she was seen at the airport bar drinking, right?
Right.
That's where the whole drunk thing is coming from. And it's entirely possible. I mean, I've drank before.
Well,
I've got
if
on
you-
flights
And you know what? If you're drunk, sometimes the veil becomes thinner and
a
you
little
see,
bit thinner,
right?
right?
And that might
Right.
make it more credible. That's
Right.
just like the cop out, go to autopilot response.
Right, that she
Um,
was drunk and naturally
yeah.
a racist. This was because of the claims where this video was coming from.
Anyway, back to the whistleblower. So yeah, that whoever from I would imagine it's somebody from some agency probably hacked either Reddit or literally was working with somebody in the Reddit administration and was doing this. Who knows? You can imagine the situation like at gunpoint or not, whatever.
Well, as we know, like the NSA and probably the CIA, their systems are designed that certain keywords get detected and then show up on their, in their system basically, and then they manually review it, type of thing. So I'm sure if that's the case, when this guy started posting, that thing got flagged,
Triggered some kind of alarm.
triggered something. Somebody
Right.
saw it and was like, oh shit, this
Right.
guy is telling too much truth. We gotta get
They're
rid of this.
buzzwords. They have
Right,
buzzwords.
and
Mhm.
they had to quickly remove it.
Yeah, and I mean, this even migrated over to the microbiology subreddit, where actual scientists who, in some cases, have presented their credentials to the mods of the subreddit, right? Like, I am who I say I am. Now, there's some disagreement there too. So people are trying to debunk it. But a lot of these guys have said, listen, his use of phrasing, his description of the procedures, like this stuff is in alignment. I'm not going to say if he's definitely who he says he is, but he's got a background in what he says he does.
Well, and I watched a video where this I think you sent it to me, or maybe not, I don't know, but she was saying like the more questions he was asked, the more credible he sounded. Like, because
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
it was normally it's the other way around if you're lying,
Yeah,
Right,
no, it's
right.
absolutely true. I
Right.
mean, and they went in on him. Like, they weren't taking it easy on him. I mean, like, long strings of questions that he would then respond to, boom, boom,
Right.
boom, boom, boom,
Right. Yeah.
with
Well,
seemingly
it-
legitimate answers. Now, I'm not a microbiologist, but from what I have tried to fact check from these posts, I mean, I
Right.
can't find the only thing that maybe seems like a legitimate question to me is if there's such a high level of compartmentalization in these spaces, how would he have access to this wide body of knowledge like he does? Wouldn't it seem more reasonable that he would only be given a certain task within certain parameters to work on instead of being given the entire kit
Well,
and caboodle?
I think that comes with years of experience in a company, and I mean, eventually you do get clearance, and you will get into a place of like a need to know position, where you have a little more of the scope of what's going on.
Right.
And so it could be he might have been a high level security clearance at that point. Who knows?
I mean, they should. The takedown sold it for me. The way they took him down.
Right.
Mhm.
Either
don't know.
way, I mean, it just everything that's coming out right now, that like everything, it's like here, it's like happening. Like you can't even escape this stuff anymore. If you still don't believe in ETs and all that stuff, it's like you're choosing not to. So I think it's really interesting whether or not it's all distraction, which it could be from the child trafficking, and it could be a distraction from, Hunter Biden stuff and all the other stuff that will get taken down for talking about. It could be a distraction from all that too, but it's still doesn't mean it's not any less important that we know about it.
Right. I think it's just everything is coming to the surface right now. Everything
Right.
hidden is coming to light. I think things are happening that fast and that much that you're gonna get a lot of things happening at the same time.
Right. It's
Doesn't
only
mean
a
it's
distraction if you can't
Well,
focus on more
right.
than one thing at one
It
time.
doesn't necessarily mean it's a distraction if something else
Right.
big is happening at the same time that something
Right.
like this is happening.
Right. Well,
Just a lot is going
exactly.
on.
So let's move on to the next crazy thing, the Harvard whistleblower. Aaron, you want to kind of lead people into this and we can.
Yeah. Do you want me to? Yeah. So basically, Avi Loeb, if you know who he is he's a Harvard professor, and his team apparently found. So here, I'll just read this article. What says: Harvard professor Avi Loeb's team was combing the floor for the Pacific Ocean looking for remnants from a 2014 asteroid strike when they turned up something unmatched in our solar system. And they think it might be alien technology, basically.
And go ahead, Foil.
He so after Oumuamua, right? Because that's how he came to be the Harvard alien guy, right? After Oumuamua, and they were able to kind of calculate, possible, because the weird thing about Oumuamua was it sped up when it was leaving the system, right? He was like, what the hell? So then they started looking at other meteor strikes here on Earth that may have been, if they could calculate the trajectories properly, that may have been also interstellar objects. And that's how they came across, like, the one that he was looking at now is called IM1, Interstellar Meteor 1, that hit off of New Guinea in like January of 2014. He got Space Command, right? DOD to help him verify the trajectories and the speed and whatever. They were able to say with a 99.99% accuracy, this thing came from out of our system, right? This is something from somewhere else. Now, this was a little thing, and it burned up coming in. And so when these things burn up, the metals and stuff in them, they form these, they drop off and they form these little spherules, right? And so once he was able to figure out where it hit and they got a general idea, they used like seismometers to kind of pinpoint the location. And then, they got help, like I said, from the DOD, and he was able to narrow it down. He took out a magnetic sled and just kind of dredged the bottom of the ocean, right? And they ended up with 50 of these little spherules. And before he even went out, so Avi Loeb started this thing on Twitter called the Galileo Project, which is a great follow. If you're not familiar with it, he writes on Medium, he posts all of his articles, he takes you through the journey step at a time on there. So when he started posting that they wanted to go look for this thing, other scientists were like, this is crazy. You're going to find the same composite ingredients that we find in our own solar system, because most of the stuff that's flying around here is like iron and nickel, right? And Avi Loeb was like, no, I have a feeling this is going to be this. If this is an interstellar object, it'll probably be a high concentration of iron. We'll have to get out there and see. So he picks it up. They get it under they do some spectroscopy on it. What do they find? It is mostly iron. There's trace amounts of nickel. This is not like anything we've seen here. He compared it to the catalog that NASA keeps of the near-Earth objects, what we know their composition to be. It did not line up with any of that. So this definitely came from somewhere else. The question is, was this artificially constructed? It is an alloy, right? Now, this could be something that just arises naturally elsewhere, but he doesn't seem to think so. He thinks that with more investigation, they'll be able to show that this is an artificially created substance. We already know that it's like 4 or 5 times stronger than anything else that we found, right? And what's cool is there was a second meteor, IM2, that he is now going to go look for that was much bigger. It came in much slower, so they're more likely to find really big pieces of this that they can do further investigation on.
And you guys see why I said Foil's a good researcher?
Thanks.
No, it's incredible your ability to retain all that. When I read stuff like that, I just don't remember everything. I get like the basic synopsis and like a generalization of it, and like, yeah, this happened, but you're like every detail down to the specific name, so it's very valuable.
Well, thanks.
No, I agree. Like, it's just another example right now of something crazy. It's all extraterrestrial right now. Everything, it's like they're prepping us for whatever. I mean, it's
something.
Yeah.
As long as it ain't Blue Beam Jesus,
Right.
I'm cool, man.
Right.
Just leave that guy out of it.
It could be.
I'm telling you.
ETs themselves, what if they sent that asteroid, you know?
Well, that's what he said. That's what Avi Loeb
to-
said. He was like we
as like
sent
a
out
soft
Voyager.
disclosure kind of thing, like, hey guys, there's something else going, you know, I'm sure they do things all the time like that to try to like do this soft awakening, prepping us for, hey, there's life other than you guys out here.
Right.
Obviously
Probably.
the UFO sightings themselves are basically doing that, and they're ramping up. They've been ramping up for a while. People are seeing UFOs are off the charts. Sightings
I mean,
right now.
daily people are seeing stuff now.
Right.
You know,
Crashes, all the things are popping up in the news every other week in the media.
Well, if you think about it, we sent out Voyager, right? Forever ago. In 10,000 years, it'll leave our system. It'll go into another system. It could get sucked into the gravitational well of another planet, burn up on entry, and they're going to be finding little Voyager spherules, wondering where that came from.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, it seems legit to me.
I'm gonna try another video, guys, and see if we can hear it. I think I might be able to do something with this audio. We'll do a sample and see if you guys can hear it before I play it all. But let me pull it up first. Where is it at? It's the September 23rd thing. Did you send me that, Foil?
Probably. Which September? Oh, yes, I did. I sent it last night. All the stuff that's
Yeah. Let me.
that was definitely me.
Okay.
I don't know if we even need audio for that one. If you just show them, I think they can read it. That is crazy though.
Right. Let me share my screen. Tell me, I'm gonna play a quick second and tell me if you can hear it, and then hang on, I gotta unmute it.
Strikes expected September 23rd. The TV show Big Bang Theory, an astro.
Can you
Yes.
hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
There we
Alright,
go.
Here we go.
In the TV show Big Bang Theory, an asteroid strike is expected September 23rd. In the movie Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, an asteroid strikes September 23rd. Julia, a meteor strikes September 23rd. Knowing, solar flare strikes September 22nd, lasting until September 23rd. Little Shop of Horrors, humans are threatened by an event, September 23rd. Tomorrowland, disaster strikes September 23rd. 23, hell will arrive September 23rd. Sleepy Hollow, a dimension opens up September 23rd. Ghostbusters, evil is released on September 23rd. This is the end. 9/23 is the date the rapture happens. Pandemic, outbreak starts September 23rd. Either fake aliens, fake Carrington event, or fake asteroid.
See that blue beam, Jesus?
So
I don't know, man.
September
Yeah, I
20th.
remember back in 2015 seeing that everyone. I don't know if you guys back then remember, but there was a lot of talk about a massive asteroid that was because people were showing all that back then, 8 years ago. Like, look, they keep saying September 23rd, and all these shows and everything. And they're still doing it apparently.
So it's September 23rd. We just don't know which one.
We don't know which one.
We don't know which one. So I'm just don't trust it. Any September 23rd.
Here's the
Right.
thing. If we know about it and we start talking about it, we might be able to stop it. Like, I really believe that. So how did COVID sneak up on us? No one saw that predictive programming, but when we go back and look, it was all there. Same with 9/11. No one really was picking up on it, but when you went back and look, it was all there. Now people are picking up on the predictive programming. So once your plan escapes, once your plan is out, like, I don't know if it's going to be potent anymore. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off.
Maybe we're thwarting it just by it. Yeah.
Right.
Being aware of it right now.
Never can tell.
It's like
Right.
it's like maybe they're trying to get us to manifest, to co-create a certain timeline and something to happen on that date. CERN
Right.
opens up a portal, or asteroid or a fake ET invasion, whatever it may be.
So we got to just all do a bunch of like love and light shit on September 23rd.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I'm down
I mean, we could start doing it now every day.
every day.
Real quick, while I meant to mention it earlier, as many of you guys may know, Aaron and I are going to be at the Aztec, New Mexico SUNFIRE Festival in August, at the end of August, August 25th through the 28th. It's not like your typical conference. Jen and Brian Berryhill are putting it on. It's a festival, but there's going to be presenters. There's going to be music. It's a very Native American theme, star knowledge theme, I guess you could say. And we're going to have our experiencers lounge set up there. We're just going to be hanging out with everybody, and we're going to be filming any of the attendees who want to share their paranormal UFO ET experience on camera. And we're going to compile it into a video and put it on our channel after the event. But tickets are still on sale. They're only $144 for the whole weekend, which is crazy cheap. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's at the Tico Time Resort in Aztec, New Mexico, which is amazing. If you guys just it's like this summer camp river vibe. I don't know. It looks really awesome.
It looks amazing. Yeah.
So the link is below in the description. So you guys can, if you want to come and hang out with us, grab a ticket, and hopefully we'll see you out there. No, Deanna.
I also, yeah, so did I. I was waiting for it. I'm like September 23rd.
On September 23rd.
Right.
Right. Anyway, if you feel compelled to come, you should come grab a ticket. There's going to be some great speakers there, and a lot of friends and familiar faces. So, anyway. Oh yeah, the Oppenheimer. Did you guys see the trailer for the Oppenheimer?
Yes, I really want to see that.
It's such like their version of what happened.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. They're pushing it now because like they have to like re-solidify their version of history, and they're going to do it theatrically in the theaters. And I saw the trailer and I'm just like, this isn't really like, this wasn't the main focus of any of that. That bomb, that was like a non-issue. This was like so much more. The Navy spies are discovering the Germans were cloning people and building UFOs and reverse engineering technology, and communicating with reptilians in the Vril, and had bases in Antarctica and Argentina, and they want you to put this movie out thinking about like, oh, it's just about this bomb.
Right. It's a joke. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that goes with the whole nuclear war narrative that they keep pushing up. Suddenly there's stuff on the roof in Zaporizhia, and Russia's gonna bomb, and Ukraine is everybody's gonna bomb everybody. It's gonna be crazy. Like they want you thinking about that.
They got to keep everybody in fear of a nuclear war.
Right? Aaron, what was that MK Ultra escapee thing you sent me from Reddit?
Oh, what?
I don't know. I sent it to you. I can.
Well, I mean, I can pull it up. I didn't know if you knew about it off the top of your head or not.
I don't know. I was trying to find the Reddit whistleblower because I hadn't come across it yet, and that's what I found instead. And I was like, is this the Reddit whistleblower?
Right.
You're like, no, it's this.
Anyway, we don't have to cover it, but
it sounded interesting though. Yeah.
Right.
Man in the High Castle is awesome, Prince.
Man in the High Castle is like the alternate timeline that the cabal probably wanted us on
right
after World War II.
Show.
That is an awesome show. Yeah.
So what else did you send me where we can go over?
I sent you the Michael Salla tweets where he's talking about
Congressman Tim Burchett. How is that how you say it?
I think so.
Burchett. Congressman Tim Burchett makes bold statements that he has seen evidence UFOs are otherworldly and also fly underwater. Momentum for official disclosure continues to grow. Congressman says UFOs defy physics as we know it and fly underwater. And this was just a few days ago, actually, on the 8th.
Well, they're really pushing the issue now. I mean, like, who said Rubio a minute? Like, Rubio came out and he was like, hey, listen, we're like, they are definitely taking this seriously. I know. Have you seen about the guy that interviewed Grush, right? Ross Coulthart. Is that how you say his name? So he's been making his rounds on the podcasts. Okay. He's been making his rounds, and he had made reference on the Unity Project, I think, talking about a UFO because once the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act is passed, there is written in there. Now this has come out of Senate committee, right, where they have written permanent funding for Aero. We're not funding any more, special access programs. You've got 6 months to come with the goods. You got 6 months to tell us what's going on, or there are going to be consequences, unspecified consequences, but consequences nonetheless, right? Now, once the NDAA passes, this will go into effect. They'll have 6 months to come out with it. So they're asking Ross about this, and he says, well, what if I told you that, because the guy goes, well, wouldn't that just give them 6 months to hide their shit? And Ross is like, well, what if I told you that that he knows of at least one incident where there was a crashed ship that was so big it couldn't be moved, so they actually built a building over it, right? In a country outside of the United States, they actually built a building over it. So I don't know if you guys have been, right. It's funny because Stephen Greer had mentioned something about that about a month ago. Now, I'm not a huge Greer fan,
Yeah, same. I respect the good that he's done, the work that he's done over the years, and the Disclosure Project, of course. And,
right, naturally.
But he says some things there's no negative ETs, and
right. I just can't get on board with that.
It's like, no, dude.
Foil, were you sending me something on that?
Probably.
Well, there's somebody literally.
It's been all over Twitter today. So you probably have gotten where people have now assumed it's this big round building in the mountains of South Korea. Yeah. And then there's somebody else that says, no, it's in Greenland. Like here's, like they're arguing over where this thing might be. So that's been kind of big UFO news for the past day or so.
Yeah, actually I had that saved to talk about and then I forgot about it. Let me find that link and I will we can look at that picture.
Yeah, I don't know that it's, it could be under the Vatican for all we know, right. They're just saying the ship crashed. It was too big. They couldn't possibly move it. They literally built a building over it to hide it, and then somebody else had posted a pretty, I don't know, possible link in Greenland. Maybe it's in Greenland. Who knows? But it is crazy. It's good to see so many people discussing these issues.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull up because I do want to show that photo. Why not? Right?
Why not?
I'm just putting, that link didn't work. Damn it. Anyway, maybe I can do this. Keep talking so people don't get bored.
Right. Come on, Aaron, chime in. All right. What else has been going on? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really excited about.
What do you think about the cocaine in the White House?
Oh yeah,
you know what I think, right? Come on, man. That's super. First, it's in the library, right? Then it's in like some room where everybody goes. Then it's in a room where not so many people go, but it's right next to the Situation Room. Okay. Now, granted, it's only a dime bag, right? And then they said it couldn't be Hunter's. The first family was not even there that day. Then they come to find out they didn't even leave until that evening. It could totally have been his, I mean, and then we've got the video. I love the video of during the fireworks on the 4th, where they're all up on the White House balcony watching the fireworks and Hunter's in the back, like.
Yeah, like completely coked out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like wiping his face and doing that thing with his nose. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on,
all right,
bro.
So I'm going to share my screen and show this building that we were just talking about.
Yes, it's like Clue, Deanna.
All right.
Yes, this one. This is the one.
So that's the building they're claiming that they built it over to erect UFO?
Yes, they're saying, that this is in the mountains of South Korea, that, and a lot of people point out, like, why would you build just because you think it was a saucer, the building must be round? Like, I don't know, but there are a lot of people claiming this. And like I said, it did come up that Stephen Greer had mentioned almost the exact same story about a month ago. But Ross was saying, like, he knows exactly where it's at. Not only that there are some of these things that they might have to disclose that are too big to move, but like that there are companies actively trying to offload some of the tech that they have. That there was one company trying to sell a whole ship to another company. I mean, he goes into great detail about it. Right. It's worth listening to for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Here's what Dr. Disclosure 89 says about this. I discovered the building that Ross, some Twitter handle mentioned, reportedly housing a UFO. It's located overseas in South Korea, to be precise. Here's a photograph of the site, with the building appearing to be quite aged and enormous. If indeed there is a craft inside, it's possible that it's been there for over 50 years, hidden in plain sight. Its purported function is a radio station, yet the presence of armed military guards raises suspicions. To me, at least, the situation seems somewhat unusual, although I cannot definitively say what lies within. A military facility on the mountain just south of, so there's a military facility just
Mhm.
south of there also. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, could be.
I mean, it is. Let's just pretend. Yes.
That's where it's at, guys.
Proof
We-
positive. It
Fact
is.
check true, right?
Well,
I mean, if they
I
can,
know for a fact UFO crashes are a real thing.
right.
So I see no reason to not believe why that isn't true. I mean,
So
that,
here,
you know,
yeah. And then here's the other thing you sent me, Aaron. Why is the U.S. Northcom and NORAD commander criticizing U.S. Space Command over an incredibly misleading statement on nuclear missile strikes and tracking Santa Claus? One answer is growing authority of Space Command is tracking ET craft and responding. So it's just more.
Yeah.
It's just more news about them tracking
It's like,
UFOs.
are they
and
mad
is-
because NORAD tracks Santa every year? Is this the problem?
Santa
Um,
Claus. Yeah, Santa Claus is a code word for UFOs.
Uh-huh.
That's
Right.
actually real. Yeah.
That's actually who was the person on the plane who wasn't real
I
either.
saw that. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Santa Claus.
I'm sold.
It's Santa Claus. So there was, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was just in Colorado and I decided to literally drive up to the guard station at Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Base and
Just drove up like,
I wanted to see if
I'm here, man. I'm
I
here.
wanted to see
Yeah.
if I could get past to take a picture of the entrance. And the guy's like, well, he's like, yeah, can I help you? I was like, yeah, this is a visitor. He's like, visitor of what? And it's like, it's a completely armed guy with like the gun and everything. And he's like,
Yeah.
visitor of what? I'm like, just visiting the area. I just wanted to see if I can take a picture of the sign and or the entrance or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to back you up. And he
Right,
was like,
like, yeah,
dude,
no,
he's like, dude,
no.
exactly as I say. And like he radioed something in and
Oh, you're on
like,
so many lists right
he
now.
backed me literally.
Oh,
I
yeah.
backed like he backed me up and then he's like, don't move until I say, and like then he was nice about it, but it was very military.
Could you see it?
militaristic.
Was it all Stargate looking?
There's guard stations. There's a few guard stations before you even get to the entrance. But I took a picture of the sign. But prior to that, we went to the Air Force Academy, which is really interesting. I had a crazy experience there that I'll share about soon, but not yet. But first thing I noticed is at the guard station when we were waiting in line to get into the Air Force Academy, they have the colors, like each bay is red, yellow, blue, and gray. Now, if you hear any whistleblowers talk about the domes, those are the color stripes that are on the floor, and each
Right,
stripe,
that you got to follow.
right, each stripe specifies a different clearance. And
Mhm.
that's an indicator that is an underground base just by the guard station alone and each bay being that. So that's one way to tell, even though you go on the site and they never say anything about underground, but it's massive underground there because it connects to the Cheyenne Mountain complex. It's not only miles away from it, but what else? Oh, but all these cars are going through security. Our car is the only one. They're like, yeah, pop your trunk, roll your windows down, like all
You
this
look
stuff.
suspicious, sir.
Right.
Right?
No, but it was wild. So I have a whole story that I'll share one time, but not today because
Not today.
I'm still trying to figure it all out and process
A
it.
little
But
shook.
it was very interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting.
Let's just say I'm pretty sure I've been there before, and I've never been there. And we even had some weird people following us, and it was wild. But,
Really?
yeah. Anyway, Foil has a couple trivia questions for Aaron and I'm excited to get into, but I think there's one more link that you sent me, Aaron. I'm gonna check it out before we
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's an alleged video of Area 51, 3 orbs being flight tested that was leaked in 2014.
Mhm.
Basically, they're saying if it's genuine, it's compelling evidence that the US has successfully reverse engineered alien tech and blah blah blah. It just came out on the 5th. Like, so we have actual footage of 3 orbs flying around Area 51 now. That's out. Like, it's the
Mhm.
legitimate footage. They're just showing us more UFOs.
A lot of good orb videos recently. I saw one today that was supposed to have been from this month, where there was one orb, a larger orb, dropping smaller orbs from it over maybe Minnesota somewhere that
Yeah.
somebody had caught. I just saw that before we went live.
Nice.
Right. Sorry, I'm
I
just
was
reading
just in Mount
comments.
Shaft a bit ago and saw a few ships, and friends of mine saw some.
Did you go to
I mean, that's
Telos?
typical there, though. What's that?
Did you go to Telos?
Not consciously. We did a meditation on the mountain though, and I think
That
we
kind of-
we I mean we might have gone astrally. I'll just say that,
um,
but oh yeah, there's always activity there. I mean, it's a vortex, so every night you look up, you'll see something.
That's awesome.
You'll see
Um,
usually multiple every night. Yeah.
so my Allie B, I want to hear that story. I'm going to be interviewed by Arkeem Ra coming up, and we're going to be talking about a lot of crazy
Nice.
memories and stuff I've experienced that
Ooh.
I don't always share. And he's going to get a lot out of me because I don't plan on sharing this stuff all the time. So just stay tuned for that. That's when I'll talk about the Air Force Academy experience. But let's see what questions Foil has for us. I want to do some
Yeah.
trivia.
So there are people that watch your channel that probably have no idea. So we do Tyler and I, again, I've been on hiatus, but Tyler and I do conspiracy theory trivia on my channel every now and again. So I just thought maybe we'd throw some questions out here, see what your audience has to say. See how I thought Tyler had some questions for me, but no.
No, I want to see what you have.
I got you.
For us.
I got you.
All
I got 2 solid trivias. I see a couple of people are hyped about the trivia in the comments. Let's go. All right.
Bring
All
it
right, Tyler, Aaron. According to William Cooper, what was the name for the government project whose primary purpose was to decipher alien language and communications and to establish a dialogue with alien beings? Was it A, Project Sign, B, Project Grudge, C, Project Sigma, or D, Project Omega?
Those are all real projects. You're supposed to throw
Those-
one in there.
those
So
are
I
all
can at
real
least
projects.
See how well you know your secret project, sir.
What'd you say, Aaron?
I said those are all real projects. Well, I know Sign and Grudge. Sign turned into Grudge, and then Grudge turned into Blue Book, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Tyler? I know
Yeah,
she can't say anything.
I can look it up. And
I believe it was Sign, then it turned into Grudge, then it turned into Blue Book.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, one more time. All right.
So I don't
According
think
to
it's
William Cooper, what was the name for the government project whose primary purpose was to decipher alien language and communications and to establish a dialogue with alien beings? Was it A, Project Sign, B, Project Grudge, C, Project Sigma, or D, Project Omega?
it's either C or D for sure.
I'm gonna say C.
Yeah, I'll say C, Sigma.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Final answer.
It is.
Yes.
Good job, guys, right? Yes, it is Project Sigma. So according to Bill, most of you guys probably know, the government, and I was talking about this earlier, the government had captured what he called an EBE, an extraterrestrial biological entity, and they held it in captivity for a few years in like this Faraday shielded environment so that it couldn't leave. It eventually got sick in late 1951 because they knew, like I said, that its biology was based on chlorophyll. They called in a botanist, this Dr. Guillermo Mendoza, right, who tried to save this thing for about a year, but then it died. So during this time, kind of in a panic, under President Truman, the US began broadcasting a call for help into space, right? They didn't want to look like douche canoes, so they were asking for help. All right. So even though this call supposedly went unanswered, the project continued. So then Truman, this is Project Sigma. So then Truman creates the National Security Agency by secret executive order on November 4th, 1952, who, according to Cooper, had always had the primary purpose of deciphering their language and establishing a dialogue with aliens. And it was actually a continuation of this earlier effort, Project Sigma. And then that's why it was codenamed Project Sigma. And interestingly, publicly, the NSA's mission includes the protection and formulation of codes, ciphers, and cryptology. So maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Here, just so you know, Aaron, Project Sign evolved into Project Aquarius, actually.
Oh,
So it was,
okay.
I think it was Grudge, Sign,
Oh, Grudge and then Sign.
Grudge and then
Sorry.
Sign, and then
I had it backwards.
Aquarius, and
And-
then Blue Book.
Then Aquarius, then
then-
Blue Book. I had it backwards. Yeah.
And then this is John Lear's description of Project Sigma from 1987.
Oh, bring it.
Established in 1954 as part of, as part of Project Sign, Project Sigma. The mission of Project Sigma was to establish communication with aliens. First communication was established in 1959 through binary computer language. On April 25th, 1964, a U.S. Air Force officer met with aliens at a prearranged desert location in New Mexico. Information was exchanged and a basic understanding was reached after several hours. It was learned through this effort that several species of alien life existed. Communication was eventually established with all of them. Through communications, it was determined that 3 categories existed. The 3 categories are malevolent, dangerous, benevolent, good and helpful, and neutral observers only. The project has been extremely successful.
I bet.
Yeah.
Just randomly broadcasting calls into space. You're going to get somebody answer, right?
Right.
You would think.
Yep.
You would think. All right. All right. Let's see how you do with this next one.
All right.
all
Let's
right.
do it.
All right. What 1980s arcade game that is now the stuff of urban legend was supposedly visited by the Men in Black for the purpose of data mining and possibly tested as a mind control method to train young soldiers? Was it A, Polybius, B, Missile Command, C, Robotron, or D, Tempest?
Oh man, I'm gonna
Ooh.
go with B.
I'm gonna go with
I'm gonna go B, Missile Command, but I have no idea. Tempest.
I'm going to read it.
sound-
Let me read it one more time.
Yeah, read it
One more
again. That was a
time.
For-
long
for the
that was a
audience.
long question.
Okay. What 1980s arcade game that is now the stuff of urban legend was supposedly visited by the Men in Black for the purpose of data mining and possibly tested as a mind control method to create young soldiers? A, Polybius, B, Missile Command, C, Robotron, or D, Tempest?
A lot of people are saying D, Tempest.
I'm gonna go with
Tempest.
Polybius.
Final answers?
I don't know why. I'm just going with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'm B. I'm sticking
It
B,
is
yeah.
Polybius. It is A,
Yes.
but it's kind of a trick question because Polybius is supposedly, allegedly based on Tempest, right? They were extremely similar, supposedly. Now,
I played Tempest. Yeah.
right.
Shooting
So
asteroids and stuff. Yeah.
here's the thing. So allegedly, in Portland in the 1980s, this arcade game called Polybius just popped up like overnight in this local arcade. And through word of mouth, people started apparently lining up like around the block to play this game. Many of these gamers supposedly ended up sick, addicted, having horrible nightmares. Some allegedly offed themselves. Others had memory wipes or they ended up having seizures. But it's worse than that. So the myth of Polybius would have you believe that the game was actually operated by the CIA or possibly the CIA working with Atari, or maybe, because this is all we don't know, right? Maybe a company called Sinislocken, right, which is supposed to mean sensory deprivation and possibly was being controlled by either the CIA or Germany. You know, conspiracy theorists are not clear on this point. Right. And apparently the Men in Black would collect data from the machines from time to time, not just looking for like player performance, but actually gathering, responses to the subliminal messages that would flash on the screen and were the cause of these seizures and other, nefarious things. And to be fair, like Portland at the time in the early 1980s was like a test market for new arcade games. So like they would have these black boxes pop up, and like a lot of them weren't even named. It might say like, new game or test game, and people would come and play and they would see how people reacted. So the story of Polybius popping up kind of randomly is not that far off center. So it's not that crazy of an idea. And we also know for a fact that the FBI was hanging around this specific arcade in 1981, allegedly investigating some kind of a gambling ring that was being run by the owner. So who knows? But because of this conspiracy theory, because apparently nobody's been able to prove that this Polybius game actually existed. This is all supposedly urban legend. But Windows and then later PlayStation created an actual Polybius game that they then released.
Now,
Interesting.
the whole seizure part has me thinking about all the kids' cartoons that have the warning about the seizures.
Flashing,
Flashing lights may
Mhm.
cause seizures, whatever, and stroke and whatever else. They don't, that was the early days when they were experimenting with it, but obviously they have ways to monitor people in their homes now and things of that nature. So it could be happening through television shows right in your own home.
Could be. I mean, Lord knows there's probably enough subliminal messaging in the shit that we see that it's definite, mind control stuff for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Craziness.
Well, those are great questions.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I had to
those
come.
are-
I had to come with the good stuff here.
Right.
Sorry.
No, that was good.
Right.
That was good. Is there anything else that we forgot that we should cover before we start wrapping this up?
I don't know. There's always so much stuff, right?
Well, it's not super current, but what do you think about this David Grush guy, this supposed whistleblower? Did you look into him at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, so when I first saw the video, some of his facial, the way his body language, like it wasn't lining up for me, but he's got the credentials. I mean,
Yeah.
he's saying things that we already believe to be true. He was
Right.
willing to put his career on the line for this. And apparently when he did that, this wasn't the first time he tried to tell somebody. So apparently
Oh, really?
two other times he went to he tried to submit testimony to Congress before he even did this interview.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
So I'm inclined to believe the guy.
that. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Right. Some people are saying he's clearly controlled opposition because
You'll get that. But at this point,
Oh,
listen.
right. You're always going to get that. Right?
Yeah, but they're asking the right questions. We're getting the right language in bills from Congress. Like I said, a lot of this new stuff that's written into the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act, when they get that passed, I mean, it's out of committee. They get that passed. This is what we've been working for as far as trying to get some kind of disclosure. Like
Right.
all the people are not going to be happy all of the time, but we're making some kind of headway,
Right.
And I think there are people in Congress on both sides of the aisle that generally want to know what the hell is going on.
Right. Somebody said, I think he was staged. Well, here's the thing, like, even if he was, it's still information that's entering the collective consciousness. It's
Right.
planting the seed into the masses. It's switching the narrative that we're not being laughed at, like I said earlier. And it's really interesting. You can call literally anything a psyop these days, or you can call
Psyopception.
you know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
can say it was staged, psyop, misinformation. Like you can pick anything you want, even the truest possible thing, and claim that it's a psyop, if you want to go by the very definition of a psychological operation. But
Mhm.
it's like the fall guy for anything that people don't want to look at, or they don't want to admit it's true. And there's so many people out there pointing a finger. I think a lot of them are plants immediately trying to call bullshit on this stuff. And it just creates division and arguments. So that's why you just like, it doesn't even matter debating people on these subjects. Like you can read the information and feel into it and come up with your own decision on whether you believe it's true or not. And you don't need anyone else to tell you. And that's
Right.
Otherwise you're gonna start fighting with people and you're gonna become divided.
For sure.
Like because someone posts something that doesn't align with what you believe or what you think is true on whatever specific subject you're researching, doesn't mean that you have to say something to combat that or rebuttal or whatever.
you're always going to have people that either like there's the people that believe everything, there's the people that believe nothing. You don't want to be either one of those people. You want to be somebody in the middle,
Exactly.
you know, that is able to even be willing to reevaluate their own viewpoint in light of new evidence.
Right.
You know,
Right.
just be reasonable.
Well, I just see so many people dealing in absolutes these days. Like it's
Yes.
just matter of fact this or
Right.
matter of fact that. And
There's
when it's not true, like when you think you've obtained the truth on
Mhm.
said subject, you haven't. Like that's just simply the case. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
you definitely haven't. Right.
yeah. So
There's lots of emotion to people, and there's lots and lots of confirmation bias going on.
Yes.
People where their mind's already made up about a certain narrative or whatever their belief is. And then, because how confirmation bias works is now all you see is the supposed evidence that backs up what you already believe. And anything that doesn't, you filter out or you say it must be BS or blah,
Right.
blah, blah. That's how it works. So what I see is a lot of people, they think they keep coming across things that are proving what they already believe, but actually all they're doing is confirmation bias.
Mhm.
And you know, sorry to call it the flat earthers, but I'm sorry I have to here because I see it so much
Buddy.
with the flat earthers
Right.
and
The
flat earth
flurfs.
thing. It's
Well,
just like tons and tons of confirmation bias of like, look, here's the proof, and it's like it's
you
not
know
actual
what's
proof at all.
well, that's it. That with the flat earthers, it's not they present a lot of stuff that really debunks what we know as reality, which
Mhm.
but they automatically have the flat earth conclusion programmed in their mind. So
Right.
but when you watch some of their videos, it's actually really compelling and they're making good points as far as like reality is not what we've been told. Like
As far as that
Yeah,
point
for
goes,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
For
Oh yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
there's something else going on here. Like I just saw a video with like 3 suns and then, like this guy filmed them for 9 minutes. I put it on our Telegram and like that came from a flat earth account, of course. But I'm watching this stuff and you see these birds that just stop in midair. Like there's some sort of weird glitch simulation, timeline
Mhm.
shifting thing. Reality is not what we've been told.
Right.
Situation going on. Things are not as they appear. But I saw a flat earth video where these guys.
But that doesn't prove that the earth is flat.
Right,
And we
exactly.
live in
Well,
there's an ice
exactly.
wall and a dome and all the rest of it. And
So
space is-
one I just watched was these guys found a facility where they launch satellites via balloons, and they're launching these satellites via balloons, and they're like,
Yeah.
guys, like that to them that was proof that the Earth is flat because
right.
all these satellites are floating around on balloons and they're not projected, whatever. Like
Nothing gets through the firmament. That's why they send them up on balloons, and there's nothing actually in orbit. Yeah.
right. So who knows what's going on? Maybe space isn't even what we think it is because, I mean, who knows? None of us have ever been there. We've never been outside the planet to look back on it and see for ourselves.
Right.
So either way, it's
But
if you
there's
go
lots
into
and
it,
lots of insiders and whistleblowers that claim they have, and that you
Right.
know, and
But
there's
all
lots
I'm
of other
saying-
proofs. So you got to believe flat Earth, you have to basically disregard so much and say, oh, they're either straight up lying or they somehow 100% believe that some kind of mind control or something.
See, I don't know. There are some like listen. Even when Alara and I were doing Conspiracy Couch and we had on Mark Sargent and David Weiss, right? Like there are certain things I will look. Does NASA lie? NASA absolutely lies.
right?
Some of those
Constantly.
pictures are absolutely faked, right? Does that mean we haven't been to space or that space is fake? Am I sold
Yeah.
on the moon landing? You know, maybe we went up there and they told us to get the hell out. Bro, I wasn't there. Right?
Right.
The question is, whose word are you going to take? Right?
Right.
Are you able to
Right.
take some things and try to integrate some thoughts from different people and use your own discernment to come up with something that makes sense to you? And can you validate your own statements? You know, I mean, these are all things you need to be thinking about. You know, don't just.
There are insiders that say the moon landing that they showed, or a lot of the footage they showed was a fake staged footage.
Yeah, I believe that. They don't want the
In fact,
Russians.
most of
We didn't
it
want to
was-
look like we failed in front of the Russians. So
Because
maybe
they already
put
knew
some-
there was all kinds of stuff up there.
Yeah,
So
like-
of course they're gonna pre-record all of this fake footage because we
Right.
can't show the real footage. They knew that
Right,
going
who
into
Aaron,
knows?
And
So that
Chastity,
doesn't prove it never happened, you know. It doesn't-
Chastity Campbell, your old
Yeah.
roommate, she just went on Super Soldier Talk and with an incredible testimony.
I
can't
know. I
believe-
still need to finish
like,
watching it. I know.
but she talked about somebody she knows, and I don't remember all the details because it was like information overload in that episode. But somebody she knows literally worked for NASA, and her job was to scrub the moon photos, scrub the bases out of the moon photos. Like
Yeah.
she knows the girl personally whose job it was to do that. So she was.
There you go.
And she explained to her like all the stuff that she had to cover up, and she was like, there was so much back there you don't even realize. Like that's the type of testimony we can't you have to consider. But my whole point of even bringing that up was, even while you're watching these flat earth videos or whatever, even if you don't agree with it, like go into it with an open mind. Don't go into it with your mind made up. And you might learn something still. Like there's always room to grow, even expand. And sometimes you believe in something and you might be forced to reevaluate and go back to the drawing board because some new information comes in and makes you rethink whatever it is. So
the point is, don't you have to keep your mind open to all possibilities and really want the truth. But you also have to, because a lot of people that get sucked into the flat earth narrative very easily, they watched a bunch of YouTube videos. They followed a couple guys that are just showing all these proofs, supposed proofs that you get bombarded, and then you're like, oh, this is totally true because look at all this and this.
Right.
But when you actually on your own, because they're actually being manipulated, they don't even realize it. And this is this can happen to any of us about anything, and this is why it's so important to really. You have to step back and really do your own research, really use your own discernment, and look at both sides, look at all the information.
And it's
really
okay to trust science sometimes. Like we have some solid science out there, smart people.
And here's the thing. So, and here's a point I always make is that the earth, the mainstream narrative a few hundred years ago, not that long ago, used to be that the earth was flat. That was the cabal's narrative of the time. So you're telling me they were telling the truth then and now they're lying? It doesn't make any sense, So just because we're told something, they're like, oh, but they lie about everything. Well, no,
they don't.
True. Not true.
They might lie about some things, but that doesn't mean everything is a lie.
They do not lie about everything, right? Because if they lied about everything, it would become obvious, and people would stop taking them seriously.
What if flat earthers are living in a 2D reality and Earth is flat in their reality on their frequency?
Could be.
It could be, right?
Who knows?
Right.
Like you guys have heard me use the video game analogy. Like the video games, 2D started off as side scrolling, and every circle that you saw was a flat disc. It was flat. It was a circle, but it was flat because it was 2D. In a 2D reality, would it not be the same way? And maybe that's the whole flat earth psyop, to get people to devolve back into the second dimension to live. It like counters the ascension. Anyway, as the video games technology increased, as they enhanced technology, evolved, it became spherical, 3-dimensional, and every circle was now a round sphere. And then as it's evolving more and more, now it's becoming like almost holographic. And eventually, so I think the video game, the technology is like mirroring what we actually see organically.
Yeah, maybe. Or there is no Earth at all, and we live in a simulation.
Right. It's all possible.
Right.
Well, that's
right.
I mean, yeah, this could be virtual reality and we don't even know it.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, there are dimensions as well, because another proof is that, but there's interdimensional beings and there's other dimensions. So ETs don't exist. There's only interdimensional beings. It's like, no, it's both. there are ETs and there are also interdimensional.
Absolutely. I agree with that for sure.
And a lot of ETs are that as well. Like they have to densify to 3D to even be, and things like that.
Rock Cloud said they put the truth out. Why can't I scroll back? Where did it go? I just lost the comment. Oh, they put the truth out when they lie about it. The game is played in that way. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they put out truth with lies, so it's about deciphering what is what. What are the truths, what are the lies. But
my
being
favorite-
cabled into a topic by watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos and
My favorite
not a good way
answer
to do that.
was when we had on Ivan Teller and he was channeling, and I asked about the flat earth, and he said in this reality it's spherical, but he said there's other universes with square planets and they can never comprehend a spherical planet. This doesn't make sense by their template, their laws of physics. And he said there's also universes where everyone has two heads and they can't figure out how there can be people with one head. Like, that's obviously channeled information, not verifiable, but it gets you thinking. Like, it's really interesting.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
Well, everything exists somewhere because we live in an infinite universe, right? It's an infinite multiverse. So everything is
right?
everything you could say exists
somewhere.
somewhere in some way, shape,
Right?
or form.
well, the
So,
the science that doesn't prove anything, I guess, but the toroid energy field that exists within everything,
mhm.
in every plant, I mean, just everything that you see, including planets, it would make perfect sense if the planet was a sphere as well. It would have that toroid energy field that matches everything everything else that we see in the universe. But
Right.
It's turtles all the way down.
right.
Yeah.
So does anybody have a
Turtles all the
question?
way down.
All the way
Um,
down.
There's infinite turtles.
Yep.
Does
on the back.
anybody have a question for us in the chat? Ask us anything you want. We'll answer one question and then we'll
Ooh.
go ahead and wrap this up.
Question time. Right? I think gotta give it a second.
Great
There's a
to see.
delay.
Great. Yeah, I know. It takes like 20 seconds or something. I'm just
Somebody
reading some
said
of the comments.
somebody said we have great auras.
Yay.
Thank you.
That's old news.
Yes, yeah, I knew
Yeah.
that.
Thank you guys all for being here today. This has been a lot of fun. If you guys have any questions,
What is Foil's Twitter?
Foil, what's your Twitter?
oh yeah, Twitter. Go ahead and foil your stuff. Foil, go ahead.
Foil, go ahead and foil your stuff.
I am at Foil on Twitter. I put it in the chat so you guys can see. And then I have a YouTube. I'm on Rumble, whatever. It's Loyal2ThaFoil. Let me grab my channel and link it real quick. Hopefully Tyler and I will be doing some conspiracy theory trivia relatively soon. You guys come hang out for that. Give me a sub. And then I'm always on Twitter talking smack about stuff. So by all means.
Yeah. And somebody said, when will you do this again?
There's my channel.
We might do this once a month.
I'm down.
We might get Foil on here once a month at the end of the month, maybe a Sunday night at the end of every month, and just kind of go through the current events of everything that happened that month. And we'll see. We're in the middle of a lot, so it's hard to make all those promises, but I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm down. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I'll be back on with Foil for trivia very soon. We'll set that date up soon and we'll let you know. And then Aaron and I, we're working on a documentary right now for our Patreon, but it's going to not be a Patreon. It's going to be a pre-release on Patreon, but then we're going to put it out for free for everyone because I think everyone needs to see this documentary. It's turning out to be something.
I'm excited.
Way bigger than I thought. It's about the Cahokia Mounds, and not just the Cahokia Mounds, but the untold story of North America and the civilizations that were once here. And there's so much to even cover in this one documentary, but it's rewriting history. It's literally going against all the mainstream narratives that we've been given. And I know you guys will love it. I can't wait. I'm hoping by the end of the month, I'm hoping it can be a pre-release. We can put it out as a pre-release by the end of this month, if it all works out. But stay tuned for that. And Patreon, it's only $5 a month. It's not a commitment. It's not a monthly commitment. So you don't have to, feel obligated, but we appreciate the support, and it fuels us to keep doing the deep dives for the webinars and the documentaries and stuff like that.
And we very much appreciate it. And there's a lot of great stuff on it. It's well worth $5 a month. I'll just say
Cosmic Jace is here in the chat. Yeah. So Jace,
hey, what's up, Jace?
Hey, fam.
Actually, it was because of Jace we got in my opinion, some of the best drone footage of the site I've ever seen.
Ooh.
I know it is
Amazing
because I've
drone
looked
footage.
online and I haven't seen anything better. So The drone footage, we went during COVID when when the skies were clear,
Mhm.
everything was beautiful, like all the trees, everything was green. And we had just some of the most breathtaking drone footage that
Yeah.
I've ever seen. So
Well, I remember because we were looking up to buy drone footage online of the mounds, and it was like $300 for like a little short 30-second
like a 30-second clip.
It
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Yeah. And
it was
like,
literally cheaper for us to fly Jace out from Sedona and back and have him film than it was for us to buy the footage online.
right. And then we got way better footage and it's ours.
And it was way better anyway, right?
Awesome.
So
yeah, I'm
anyway,
really excited about the documentary, and I haven't even seen your progress yet. Like
man,
So you editing everything together now?
yeah, I'm editing. I'm going tomorrow to go to one other site to get some drone footage of that, because the drone footage that we currently have is from somebody else online, and it was taken in the middle of winter, and it just sucks. So I'm going to one other site tomorrow and getting one last bit of drone footage, and I think that might be all the filming that I have left, unless something else, unless I need to do something else to wrap up the end of it. But anyway, I think you guys will love it, and I really hope we can have the pre-release on Patreon by the end of the month, and then we're going to figure out how to release this to the masses. I think everyone should see it personally. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys for joining us. Any last words from you two before we?
Yeah, thanks 0 Point for your super chat. Tyler and Aaron appreciate it greatly.
Thank you, 0 Point. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
Amazing. Final words. It feels so conclusive. I don't know.
Thank you for saying we have good auras or whatever.
Yes.
Right. Hey, Ann, how's it going?
0 Point.
Love and light. This has been so much fun. I'm so glad to come hang out with you guys. I've missed you. Glad to be here.
Right.
Yeah, we miss you too. It's so great.
Okay, guys. Good night. Have a great evening, and we will see you on Thursday. And you guys will definitely not want to miss that episode. So stay tuned, and until next time, have a great evening. Good night.
Good night, guys.
All right.